Hello, and this is video 2 of drawing Slash. Now, here are my hands, and there's still a lot of work to do. I'm on day 6, and this is where I am at the moment. This is all hand drawn in pencil. Let me just show you paper. Look, actual paper. And yeah, now this is a nightmare. I knew it would be because I have drawn guitars before. So I've blocked in the colour. You can, if you look at this, you can draw it in a block. So the fretboard would be a square, and then you put the strings in. Now these are the bass strings, so they're thicker than these. That's where the problem is, because you've got to go all the way down the fretboard, and well, to be honest, I don't like drawing cars, so this is very similar. But going on the last video, I've moved on. Hopefully it'll be finished this week. It's now Monday, the 4th of May 2026, and I'm hoping to finish this week. You never know. Things can happen where time's taken away from you, plus playing something like this. I mean, the second album runs for what, 70 odd minutes. There's a really good concert, there's a couple of good concerts on there, but 70 odd minutes aren't going to take you very far in doing this. Now there is a reason to do Slash, as well as just I like the music, and that's because I'm planning a book of my artwork, and it's linked in with something and someone that I've met, but I can't say much about it. So I'll just keep stum about that. But there is a reason beyond just playing Guns N' Roses and Slash's solo albums. Now, I will be talking about something else as I go on, and I'll go beyond this portrait. At the moment I'm still trying to work on this chin. You see, with his face, he's got a lot of stubble, and it's trying to just pick out that layer of stubble so it's not an ugly black line, but it's it represents what he looks like, or what he looked like in this photo. I've had people say, do you do it from memory? You can't. Also, these people will say to me, will ask me to draw their dog for £50, and that's not happening either. You can't do this from memory, so you have to have a photo. And when you're doing this with the guitar, I learnt technical drawing. Now, when I went to school, technical drawing was set squares and T-squares and big drawing boards and draft offices, and people drew houses actually by hand. There was no computer-aided design back then. They were dabbling in it, but when you've got things like the BBC Micro and the Commodore 64 and Spectrum, you couldn't do that kind of work. And when the computers became more powerful, and there's an argument for that in itself, people threw away their set squares and their drawing books and the compasses, and well, some of them did. Others just went, I'm keeping it, and I like drawing like this. So this is a combination between everything's drawn by hand, between matching the portrait and also this has to be technical drawing. I'm not as good at it as some people, but I know what I'm doing. There's going to be a lot of musicians working on this. I mean, if you look at Slash's life, I've just seen. Let me just show you. I've just seen that concert. There's 3 discs on it, 2 CDs and a DVD. And I've just seen that concert on Saturday, and he said in it that the reason that he's picked up a guitar was his mum played blues records, and it rubbed off, and he wanted to play like them. It's very similar to what everyone does. You don't start off doing this, you have to learn. And I've said it before in videos that AI is lazy. You're lazy if you use it because, well, you're trying to fake something. You're trying to fake the audience, you know, trick the audience into believing what you've done is real. It's not. It's theft. But Slash learnt. Now, the thing is, I do wish we'd have this world back. Guns N' Roses, as well as a few other bands, they certainly weren't establishment. Establishment was something I'm going to show you a little bit later in this video. They got up the noses of a lot of officials. They were saying there was an arrogance there, but there was a skill there with their music. They had some brilliant music. And I wish that we'd get back to that world where rock ruled the world. But even back then, and I mean, Guns N' Roses were around 88 to 93. I think the last song that I remember hearing was a cover version of Live and Let Die, which is on one of the Use Your Illusion albums. And they were doing a few cover tracks. But they did good cover tracks. Although I grew up with Wings, Paul McCartney and Wings doing Live and Let Die, so I lean towards that song, the original version. Well, let me show you something about establishment. Right, Guns N' Roses, Slash and Axl Rose, and now we'll go to the height where Guns N' Roses were around, and this sticker album. Let me just show you. Let's just move this. This is what I mean by establishment. Now, it took me a while to collect this sticker album. You will notice that's big fun, but you will notice there is a theme here. Now, in 1990 we had a wealth of metal and rock albums. Guns N' Roses were ruling the charts still. Appetite, I'm not sure whether Appetite for Destruction was out, or it was around 91. I mean, they were working on it, because 1991 was Terminator 2, You Could Be Mine, which is, yeah, just play the album. But this is what we got in the UK. So Top of the Pops was the biggest music programme that you could get in the UK. We had the children's magazine programmes, the Saturday morning shows like Going Live and Motorhead and those, no, not Motorhead, Motormouth, that was it. We had these magazine programmes on Saturday mornings, but Top of the Pops was the be-all and end-all. Satellite was something that you had to pay, so we didn't really get MTV. We sort of did if we could buy Sky. See? So now we'll go to the stickers, and it took me an age to collect these stickers. I don't know why I did it. It was just out of sheer bloody mindedness. So we'll go to the presenters, and we get Andy Crane, Simon Mayo, Liz Kershaw, Bruno Brooks, and another Andy Crane, and then Philip Schofield, and Mark Goodyear, and Gary Davis. Now, this is before the purge of the DJs and the music that sort of linked, well, it did link into them saying, we're not going to play Status Quo. And Status Quo's old music, and Status Quo took them to court. That is when the music started changing. But it was full of this kind of stuff in the 80s. So, Living in a Box. Yep. And Wet, Wet, Wet. Johnny Hates Jazz. They had a couple of good songs. Spandau Ballet. Marty Pallo is linking in with Wet, Wet, Wet and Cher. And Wendy James from Transvision Vamp, and if you want to know Transvision Vamp, just play the Trogs' Wild Thing and you'll hear their song. Shakespeare Sisters, Bananarama as well, another Transvision Vamp, a group called Waterfront that not many people know about now, and Aswad, who come from Birmingham, and then Sonia, and Sunita, and Rick Astley, and a big one of Big Fun, and Stock Aitken and Waterman, and Hazel Dean. Now this is the Stock Aitken and Waterman page. See? All of these, Stock Aitken and Waterman. And then we go to Debbie Gibson. And Belinda Carlisle, who I've met and seen on stage a couple of times. And Damien? Well, he did a cover of the Time Warp. It was one song. Paula Abdul, who, yeah, we know Paula Abdul. Yaz, The Only Way Is Up. And then we get a 4-piece on Bananarama. And The Alarm. Who hears The Alarm now? Beautiful South. Simple Minds. Well, if you've played the Breakfast Club, you'll know that. Then Jericho. New Order. Eurythmics. Fine Young Cannibals. Erasure. UB40. Danny Wilson. Mary's Prayer, I'll always say, is a good song. And then we get to this, which is the London Boys, and Nena Cherry, and the Beatmasters, and Bomb the Bass. Now, can you see any rock and metal Sydney Youngblood, New Kids on the Block, Soul to Soul, Lisa Stansfield, Milli Vanilli, who, well, they mimed and they got into trouble for miming, and they just, yeah. Whole new story of that. A whole new old story. And now you look at today and AI and you just think, well, they were miming, it wasn't that bad. And then we get Kylie and Jason, because we've got to. And Kylie and Jason. You see where this is going? And then we get Climby Fisher, decent band, Perfect Day, who most people don't know, and Curiosity Killed the Cat with the, yep, and Aha, and then Brother Beyond, and Duran Duran. Where's the rock? Where's the metal? And the Primitives, and Fuzzbox, and yeah, Halo James, Martika, Kim Wilde, and Odia, Bros, and Bangles, Black Box, and Bruce Willis. Now, Bruce Willis, I will always say, was a good album, and I don't know where I've put it, but I've got his album. It's a really good album. And then we get Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney, Phil Collins, Prince. Finally we get to rock with the Rolling Stones. Madonna, George Michael, Bruce Springsteen, another rock. Here's your rock page. Def Leppard, Queen, Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, Status Quo, Richard Marx, Tina Turner, T'Pau, INXS, and U2. That's your rock page. I remember a lot of rock. And then we go to Bobby Brown, Donna Summer, Natalie Cole, Janet Jackson, Alexandra O'Neill, Adiva, Terence Trent D'Arby, Whitney Houston, Gloria Estefan, Cliff Richard, Five Star, also known as People Who Wanted to Be the Jackson 5, and Shakin' Stevens, and Michaela Strachan, who did have a hit, and Stephen Dennis, so we get the soap thing coming in again. And Jonathan Morris was from Bread. Sam Brown, Stop is a really good song. Patrick Swayze, Tiffany, I adore Tiffany. I don't tend to listen to a lot of her music now, but yeah, she's still there. Jive Bunny. Yeah. Mark Almond, Roachford, Tears for Fears, Deacon Blue, Simply Red, The Blow Monkeys, Hue and Cry, Swing Out Sister, The Christians, Pet Shop Boys, and then we go, these were transfers. I still have them, but they're not really worth much. So this book, it came out in 1990, and it was a load of, as I've just shown you, a load of stickers based around pop music. Meanwhile, we had a lot of rock in the charts, and the rock bands were big. Heavy rock was big. At least it was in my world. But according to that, it's a snapshot of what happened in the UK, and rock is an also ran. Rock metal is an also ran. Now it could be down to chart, but I remember looking at Top of the Pops and just thinking, well, where's the rock? And it was all this doof, 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 you know, that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, I'm playing this kind of music and enjoying it. As I've said before, what I did with Top of the Pops, I was watching it and just I don't like the music on it, I'm switching it off, I'll mute it. And it was about 3 or 4 weeks and I thought, I've had enough of this, because all I'm doing is muting through the songs, and I just stopped listening to chart music. And if you look at that sticker album, let's say if it was done in the mid-late 90s, you would have had a multi-page of Take That, and a multi-page of the Spice Girls, and a multi-page of Oasis and Blur. And now I've got no idea. I've literally got no idea what's in the charts. But I stay true to this. I stay true to the metal years and the rock metal years. And it doesn't stop me from going into other genres and other years, because I've got a massive 60s collection. I've got music that Slash would have grown up with. And same as Ozzy, I've got a lot of albums that when you read Ozzy's autobiographies, you suddenly pick up on, oh, I've got that album. I know that group. So it could be talking about the Dave Clark 5, and yeah, I've got a Dave Clark 5 album. It's that. So I just moved away from chart music completely. So this is something very, very special, what I'm doing at the moment. It isn't just drawing Slash. It's something a little bit different, but it's going to take the best part of a year to do. I've digitally done the cover, so I've taken a drawing that I don't have anymore. I gave it to somebody who I met. It was a gift. So I did give it to someone, and it was so I haven't got it, but I've got the scan of it, and frankly I'd rather them have it. It's a known person. It's somebody in the public eye who I met. But this is going to take a long, long time to do. Not this drawing. I don't think it's going to take too long. Do you know what? I'm getting burnt out with this. I'm going to have to quit and get something to eat. So that's where I am at the moment. If I pull out, that's what I'm doing. You can see I've got all of this to do. And clothing is difficult, but the guitar is sort of done, but I've got to tidy up the lines. I mean, when you do these lines, you've got to go, you've got to edge it either side, so it just thins it out a bit. But yeah, that's where I am after 6 days. And the next video will possibly show a bit more about the clothes. I'm working my way down, but I've still got quite a bit more to do on his face to get it to that. I can't get it to that level properly, but I can get a good version of it. And let me just show you before I finish, because you have to do this. There you are. Real picture. Let's see your AI rubbish do that. See? Real picture. There we go. That's enough proof. So the next one I'll possibly be working on this side, but I've got to put in more of the hair before I even think about doing this side. And I always leave this side last, because right-handed, and you start rubbing as you're doing it, you'll rub the pencil over and it'll cause problems, especially when there's white, because all the white is the white of the paper. I think that's finished now, and I'll do another video soon. See ya.